Thank you for watching. We are here with the Goods fam on Twitch. This is Philly Good, and we're going to be looking at the MPCX once again, going over the MPCX Bible. So if you have the MPC Bible, please load up the tutorial files and we can continue on where we left off. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and to hit the notification bell to let you know when the next stream is. Right now I'm here every day 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time and doing exactly this, and on Sundays I'll just be making a random beat on the MPC to show you any progress that we're making and things we're learning. So let's just get right into it. Today we're on chapter 13, MPC Channel Mixer Fundamentals. We had already covered a bit of it yesterday. The program mixer channel. So I'm gonna actually go in here to chapter 13. I'm gonna turn off the light and see if that gives you guys a better view of the screen. Yeah, I might need maybe even if I turn this light off. No, it still gives a weird glare on the screen, doesn't it? Yeah, no matter what I do. Yeah, it just seems to glare it right at. Oh, that's so weird. Alright, well, it wasn't really helping then turning the lights off, so I'll just put them back on. Oh, weird. Alright. Yeah, I guess you can see it pretty good like that. So we're going to go into the chapter 13 folder, MPC Channel Mixer Fundamentals. I don't know if we're ready to load any of those up yet. Let's just follow along with what it says here. From the top left of the screen, select Mixer Programs. Okay, the program mixer. It says to choose mixer programs, which is already selected there. And the program's channel mixer shows all the active MIDI based programs in your sequence. As you can see, the two standalone plugin programs, Flavor Roads and Tube Synth Lead, are there, along with the vocal instrument, key group program, and the Shadow Bass Kit program, which contains our drum sounds and bass note. In this screen we can apply mix adjustments to an entire program, as well as apply up to 4 insert effects across each program. Tap on the Flavor Roads program to select it. So this is where I'll need to load it up. I believed we had, I don't know, I'm just going to try loading up this on mix.xpj and hopefully that will have what we're looking for. So we'll go to the back to the channel mixer, programs, and then tap on the Flavor Roads program to choose that one, and then tap in Effects, Insert 2, and insert an EQ filter Akai Professional LP Filter Suite. With the following settings. So press the pencil icon and we'll put the dry wet to 25, low frequency to 43, high frequency to 78, the resonance to 25, and the rate to 50. Okay. You can temporarily hit the solo button to hear the Rhodes in isolation. The filter sweep adds a subtle, warm, moving sweep across the patch. Currently the Rhodes and the bass are fighting for some of that low end. So let's remove some from that Rhodes. Tap on insert 3. And then add the EQ filter Air Music, Air Para EQ. And tap on the high-low cut button at the bottom of the screen and set the low cut to on and type leave the type as 12 decibels. Okay, with the complete beat playing, start increasing the low cut frequency until you feel the excessive bass from the electric piano has been removed. But they wanted the whole beat playing, so I gotta go back here and turn it off solo, and we're gonna go back into here. Okay, so the low cut is set to on, the type is 12 decibels. With the complete beat playing, start increasing the low cut frequency. So low cut frequency, I'll press play start. Not too high, just high enough to remove those rumbles that interfere with the bass. When you hit the sweet spot, you should almost feel the piano make way for the bass. So they had it set at 1.98 kilohertz. All frequencies below 198 hertz will be cut by 12 decibels. If you listen to the electric piano in isolation, it might sound a little thin, but as part of the mix, it sits nicely. Now tap on the tube synth lead program and hit solo to hear it in isolation. On effects, insert 1, add modulation, air music, air half speed, the default settings for this effect provides a real-time half-speed version of your lead melody. You can adjust the loop length to change how much of the original pattern is played back at half speed. And this can give you some really interesting repeating patterns. I especially like the way the quarter D setting changes the loop. The mode setting changes the speed of the affected version, with 2 giving half speed, 4 giving quarter speed, and 1.5 giving 3/4 of the original speed. You can adjust the filter to control the amount of high and low pass filtering to filter between the original and half speed versions of the loop, while the mix parameter can be used to control how much of the pure original signal is reintroduced. So try the following. Alright, so they had it set up like this. So it says stop in the top left corner. The loop length is a quarter D. The mode is *2. Mix 64%. Under the loop, it has the fade as 9.97 milliseconds. Fade in hard, fade out hard. Under the filter section, the HPF is 207 Hertz. The LPF is 6.76 kilohertz, and they have the band button selected. So now on Effect Insert 2, add the Air Para EQ. And like we did with the Rhodes, head over to the the high-low cut screen, and this time apply a more aggressive amount of cutoff at a higher threshold. So they have the type set to 18 decibels. Turn this on, and the frequency is turned up to 340 Hertz. Now, let's add some additional stereo imaging for the melodic leads. So set a pan.
I added additional to your shopping list.
No, don't do that. I didn't even know you had a shopping list for me, but thank you. Anyway, that was so weird. Alright. So they're saying set a pan of 14R for the tube synth lead. I don't see where to set that on here though. Oh, pan right there. So a pan of 14 on the right for the tube synth lead, and set a pan of 4 left for the vocal instrument. Select the vocal instrument program, solo it. For the moment, we're going to take the solo off that one, go back here. And in insert 3, add the EQ filter Akai Professional HP filter. Use this to strip all bass elements out of this vocal instrument. So try the following in the settings. We're going to put the frequency to 5. Oh. They had it set to 521, but it seems I can only jump it to 522. Anyway, close enough. And resonance, we'll have it set to 11. So I have a quick tweak of the program and audio track volumes to get a rough mix. Now that we've added some additional effects in EQ, we'll be able to further tweak these later. Grouping sounds with submixes. While we already use the pad mixer to mix our drum kit, the drum kit as a whole is clearly very loud, so needs its overall level reducing. The problem we have is that our bass note is in the same program as our drum kit. So if we reduce the level of the Shadow Kit bass program, we'll not just be reducing the kit's level, we'll also reduce the bass level. One way around this is to use submixes. So go to Main and select Track 1 Drums. We previously suggested that you mute this track while we worked on the melodic parts, so make sure you now unmute it. Let's configure some submix routing on our Shadow Kit bass program. To do this, first we need to temporarily head back over to the pad mixer, which you can do as menu and then the pad mixer pad. Mine was set as pad 7, yours may be different in the menu. Press the route button at the bottom right of the screen. The route section of the pad mixer lets us change the routing path for the audio from each and every pad in the currently selected program. The default setting for all pads is program, which just routes all pads directly to the program channel mixer. Tap on the A01 square to select the kick on pad A01 and turn your data wheel one click clockwise. The audio from A01 no longer goes to the program channel mixer. Instead, it is being routed directly to submix 1, sub 1. You can see it changed on the bottom of the square. Repeat this process for all the drums in this program: A01, A02, A03, A04, and A06. You can also include the vinyl crackle on pad A16, as this also forms part of the kit. Return to the channel mixer and select Mixer Submixes. The MPC has 8 separate submixes. Each one can have a unique level, pan, mute status, and effects applied to it. We've assigned our drum kit to submix 1, so let's select this by tapping on the submix 1 square on screen. Just to prove how we've now routed only the drum kit to the submix, hit the mute button at the bottom, the mute button at the left of the screen, which will mute the currently selected submix, and your drum kit will be instantly silenced while the bass, which is also in the Shadow Kit program on pad A05, continues to be heard. This is because pad A05 was not routed to submix 1. Unmute submix 1 so the drums can be heard again. This means we can now easily apply effects just to our drum kit without also applying them to the bass line in our program. Single tap the inserts box, and in insert 1, add the vintage effects Akai Professional SP 1200 vintage effect. Okay, there are no editable parameters for this effect. Remember, you can temporarily bypass the effect by pressing the white on button at the end of the insert row. This way you can easily hear the subtle difference the vintage mode effect has on your drums. Obviously, feel free to add whatever effect you want here. I also added some dynamics, air compressor, to help gel the kit together a bit more. Here, they use the light and tight preset. But they reduce the mix down to 67%. That'll allow some of the original uncompressed signal to still come through. You can play with the mix until you get the balance that you prefer. You could also try ramping up the compression to more extreme levels and reduce the mix quite heavily for some interesting results. As you can see, using submixes gives us flexibility, especially when we have programs with lots of different types of sounds within them. Instead of applying effects across the entire program, we can apply them to a selective group within that program. Finally, adjust the level for our drum kit by reducing the level for submix 1. Remember, as our bass note is exploded from the submix, we'll effectively only be reducing the level for the drums, leaving the bass untouched. Submixes versus individual inserts. Another way of selectively applying effects to specific pads is to insert the effects to each pad individually via Program Edit Effects. However, in the case of an entire drum kit, this has a couple of disadvantages. Firstly, one effect instance applied to a submix uses much less system resources than 6 unique instances applied individually to 6 pads. Secondly, a compressor applied across an entire kit is going to sound very different compared to 6 compressors, each separately applied to individual drum sounds. If the intention is to gel your kit together and compress the levels of the kit as a whole, then the submix route is the best option. Alternatively, put your kits on their own dedicated program and apply effects across the program. However, submixes will allow you to do cool stuff like, for example, compressing select pairs of sounds together while applying different dynamic processing to other groups of drum sounds. Ultimately, submixes add more flexibility to your mixing. Using the returns. When adding ambience effects like reverb to our mix, it is typical to add these via the send and return system. This way we can add the same reverb preset instance to multiple sounds, which is more CPU efficient and also provides a more natural, consistent ambience across the mix. Go to Mixer, Returns, in the return channel, we can configure up to 4 different effects. The most common effects to use in a return system are reverbs and delays, and perhaps chorus and phasers. Tap the Return 1 box to select it. Tap the Inserts box and add a delay, reverb, Akai Professional, Reverb Large effect. Choose the large room preset, but set the dry wet to 100%, which gives it no dry signal. Okay, mine's already set to 100, so there we go. Let's add some reverb to our audio track. In the channel mixer, select Mixer, Audio Tracks, and tap to select Audio Track 1, Piano Melody. Press the Solo button so we can only hear this track. Press Play Start and you'll hear the audio track play back. Now tap the Send button at the bottom of the screen. In the send screen, we control how much affected return signal is added to the currently selected track. You can see the send button has 4 dots under it. This reflects the fact that we have 4 returns. So as we added our reverb to return 1, make sure the first dot under the send button is active. Send 1. To add some reverb to our audio track, we'll be increasing the send value from INFdB. As you increase the value, you should eventually start hearing the reverb being played or being added to the track. The more reverb you add, the more distant the piano becomes. Initially, set a send value around minus 15 decibels. And now unsolo the track. While the reverb sounded quite clear when soloed, it's not really that audible when played in the mix. So continue adding more send until you feel the piano has a nice amount of ambience in relation to the rest of the mix. They set theirs to a minus 10.5 decibels. Finally, select Mixer, Programs, and still in the send screen, tap on the tube synth lead, square, 3, mine's the second one, solo it, and then adjust the send, making sure you eventually check the results with the rest of the mix. Repeat the same procedure for the vocal instrument program. By using the send and return system, we've been able to add the exact same reverb, although in differing amounts, to 2 different elements in our mix. This helps achieve more adhesion in our mix, while the differing amounts help place these elements at different distances in the mix. After adding reverb, you'll probably hear that the levels sound a little off. That's because reverb creates the illusion of distance. So it's normal to have to head back to the level screen and make some tweaks to your mix. It's a continual process. If you're here and watching, please jump in the chat. I'm trying to get 5 people in the chat. That's my goal. That would be amazing. And also, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to let you know when we are here. Our channel so far has just me doing the coverage on the MPCX. So I'm Philly Good on the Goods Fam on Twitch. Just going through the MPCX Bible step by step and showing how to use this incredible machine, and hoping to build a little community around learning how to produce music properly with all the knowledge that there is to offer on this machine. So tune in here every day, 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and let your friends know if they have an MPC, MPC1 Live, whatever they have. They can try and follow along, or get the MPCX Bible and actually have all the files to follow along with right there. This isn't a paid stream. I know I set the thing, it says paid promotion at the beginning, I noticed, but it's just because I don't know how to do everything on Twitch yet, and I just realized that's showing, so I'm going to remove that when I can. But yeah, so far I'm not getting paid anything for streaming. Alright, so let's continue on here. The main outputs channel. After all your audio elements have passed through the various routings, they finally reach the main outputs channel. Here we have a dedicated control for each set of the MPC audio outputs. If you haven't adjusted any of the default output routings, then all audio generated within your MPC will leave via the main stereo outputs, known as outputs 1 and 2, 1/2. Tap on square 1, the outputs 1/2, or it will automatically put it to 1/2, and any mixing adjustments you make here in the main outputs channel will affect anything and everything intended for outputs 1 and 2. Hit play start and watch the level meter on the left hand side. You should see a very small amount of clipping here at the moment. I don't see that. It's probably because, I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to have the draft mix 1.xpj loaded up, or a different file, but we'll just pretend that it's hitting the top line there and maxing out and hitting the red. No matter how much I turn that up. I guess they mixed it well enough that it doesn't matter, it's not going to clip. So I'll follow along with their instructions and see what they did here. So to reduce this clipping, we could reduce the level for this main output. That's what I was trying to do there, but I was increasing it to see if it would clip, and it didn't. So we can also try using a special type of compressor called a limiter. Tap on Insert 1, Dynamics, air music, air limiter. And use the following settings to apply gentle limit to the mix, which will stop the output level of the main output exceeding -1 decibel. So we'll have the ceiling to -1, look ahead to 8.7 milliseconds, the release to 153 milliseconds, and the LF mono is set to 10 hertz already. That's good. So the main output channel also features 4 insert effects slots, just like every other channel in the mixer, which would normally be used for EQ and dynamic effects such as compression, maximizer, and limiter, as we have used here. I'll take a further look at the main output channel in the final chapter of the book. You can check out the draft mix by loading up the draftmix1.xpj project from the chapter 13 folder. So we'll just check out what we did here first, and then I'll load that up and listen to that. Gain staging in an MPC. We've seen that audio signals in an MPC pass through many different stages before they actually reach the final main output channel. It's vital that each stage you observe the output levels of all individual elements to ensure that nothing in the chain is clipping, beginning at the earliest stages. First, it is the output level of each individual pad/key group in a program. You check this in the pad mixer levels. In some cases, you might need to go into program edit to reduce the level for individual layers first, or make adjustments to filters or effects. The next stage are program levels via channel mixer programs. As well as audio track levels via channel mixer audio tracks. Then check the levels of the submixes. Then the level of the main outputs. Remember to double tap the level meter to reset the maximum peak level. Right there. To remove clipping, you can reduce just the output level of any problematic programs accordingly. This might upset the balance of your mix, so you might need to reduce other elements as well, just to redress the balance. Alternatively, consider using dynamics such as air maximizer or air compressor, as these can squash the problematic peaks and allow you to actually raise signal level without clipping. I discuss compression in more detail in chapter 21. So we're done that chapter and we're on chapter 14 now, working with loops. I'm just not sure. There's 14 minutes left today. Yeah, maybe we'll get started with this right away. We'll get a good 10 minutes into it anyway. So anyway, don't forget, follow, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It'll let you know that I'm Philly Good, here every day on The Goods Fam from 10 to 11 a.m. on Twitch, Eastern Time. And we're just going over the MPCX Bible with the MPCX and showing you how to use the machine. Jump in the chat and please interact with the other viewers if you can. I'd like to get 5 people to go in the chat today if it's possible. So thank you for watching, and let's finish up here with the last 10 minutes working with loops. A loop is a very handy type of sample that is configured to repeatedly play between 2 selected points. Loops are often short phrases such as drum breaks or musical riffs, but can also be used to extend the length of individual musical note samples. How do loops work? A loop sample is one that can just seamlessly repeat over a defined portion of that sample. The simplest type of loop sample is one that loops from its very beginning to its very end and can be repeated infinitely to produce a continuous performance. If you've ever wallpapered a room with a patterned wallpaper, you'll know that each strip of wallpaper must be placed so the pattern matches the previous strip, forming a continuous seamless pattern across the wall. Looping audio samples is no different. In this tutorial, we're going to loop a percussion sample. Load up the sample Old Cowbell. So chapter 14, it's probably in that folder there. Old Cowbell .wave. I'll put it on pad 7, load it in there. This short recording of a live cowbell performance, let's have a look at it in sample edit. Menu. Sample assign. Oh, it's right here on this pad. Sorry. So we're going to go to sample edit with the Old Cowbell. Hit pad 1 to preview the sample from start to finish. Hopefully you can hear that at the moment this isn't what we would normally call a perfectly looped sample. Although I suspect you can already recognize a portion of the sample that is crying out to be looped. When looping music, we tend to loop them in whole bar portions, often 1 or 2 bars to keep them manageable. In 4/4 time signatures, a bar consists of 4 beats. Count 1, 2, 3, 4 beats. Hence, 1 bar. Again, count the 4 beats as the sample plays through. So basically, from here to about here. Alright, so firstly, let's set the rough start and end points for our loop. Hold down Shift and set Snap 0 on. Using the techniques discussed in the sampling chapter, set your start and end points similar to the following, with the start at around 11656. I wonder if I could just, yeah, here we go. 11656. Do it. All right. That was easier. And now, we're going to set the end at around 138196. Oh, weird. Oh. That's odd. It's not allowing me to enter a precise amount. Okay, well that's close enough. 138195 it is. And we're going to hit pad A10 to preview it. This is very rough. The beginning is a little late and the end clips a cowbell hit. First, let's get the start nice and tight. So pinch and zoom the waveform and drag the waveform and increase the start point to 12651. Okay. Remember, snap 0 will ensure we have the edit points perfectly on 0 crossing points. Oh, okay. Preview this edit by briefly pressing down and holding the note on. Play from start preview, pad 5. Sounds good to me. So let's move on to the end point of our loop. Initially, set a magnification level that allows you to easily see that the cowbell hit that we are currently clipping. Take the endpoint back until you're positioned just before the large waveform peak, approximately 137022. Okay. Now pinch and zoom in and make the final edit of the endpoint. I found an endpoint of 137081. It appears to be spot on. Okay, so they want me to zoom in right on the endpoint and get it real perfect. 137081. There, okay. And that appears to be spot on. Notice how visually the waveform cycle at the endpoint matches the waveform at the start point. You can see this by tapping back and forth between the start and end point parameters on screen. Here's a single graphic that shows how the two edit points match up. see if I can go through this really quick in the next 4 minutes. To preview what our loop now sounds like, press and hold pad 13. Play loop. And your break will continue to play until you release the pad. Alternatively, just hit pad 16, continuous loop, and you'll hear your break loop continuously until you hit pad 16 once more. As a loop, it sounds good to my ears. The timing sounds perfect and there's no audible clicks. Now currently the MPC is only looping the sample when we specifically use the play loop preview pad 13. This means that when we use the sample in one of our beats, it will not actually play looped. Hence, we first have to officially tell the MPC that we want to use this sample as a loop. To do this, we need to set the loop parameter from off to forward. Press the loop parameter once so it turns white. The little arrow pointed to the right indicates that we've set this sample as a forward loop. A forward loop will loop our sample continuously in a normal forward direction, i.e. from start to end, then immediately back to the start again. Upon setting the sample as a loop, you'll see a blue bar appear at the top of your waveform, indicating the sample is looped. Now press and hold pad 11, play sample, note on. The sample continuously loops in normal play, thus indicating it is now assigned as a loop sample. You can now, if you wish, press process and discard any unwanted audio either side of the start and end point. And we'll stop there for today. This is Philly Good with the Goods Fam on Twitch. I'm here every day from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. What I'm doing is going through the MPCX Bible, taking a look at the MPCX and how to use it properly, and trying to build a little community around learning music production with this machine. So if you can, hit the follow, subscribe, and notification bell to let you know when I'm here next. And yeah, we'll just close up for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and jump in the chat. I'd love to get 5 people in the chat. That's my goal, so if you can help out with that, that's appreciated. Other than that, that's it for today. Thank you all. And we'll just close out with a little beat I made last Monday. Peace out. Cheers!